Yeah. Nearing the end of our odyssey here, 10 years. It's on Planning Commission going through this stuff. And so this, of course, is a really wonderful chapter to be at. And RFP is a really great framework. We went this before. Some of my comments you'll know. But I think in general, though, I would like to, really kind of hone in on some of the other aspects of this project and some of the elements I think should be accentuated and sort of put forward as central points to be strived for in its development. So in short, economic justice and wealth building should be front and center here. Okay, we know from the Equitable Black Berkeley report. That's a mouthful. Equitable Black Berkeley report. The redlining alone, suffocation of equity in an organized basis in the city costs as much as $700,000 in adjusted monies per household. And that includes those who moved away and those who stayed. And in total, right, not just the site here, but in total, that's $3.2 billion in wealth disparity. Including all these redline neighborhoods versus not redline neighborhoods. So let's hone in on the district, on where the site is. And this is a rough guesstimation of the area right where this was, right? And this is a bustling economic zone, lots of houses. Hear lots of stories about what it was like, how great it was. So in 1971, and BART, of course, this project started in 1972. So the year before it began, the median sale price for homes was around $26,000, maybe $27,000. I wish it was that way right now. And now this year, in 2025, the median sale price is about $1.3 million in that exact area. And the East Lot itself, in this instance, the East Lot alone, roughly 55 lots, plus significant commercial corridors on either side, one side and one corner side, with lots of jobs, lots of stores. This is not unlike the commercial corridor in Sacramento that they bulldozed for the Byron Rumford homes, right? So fast forward, of course, 50 years, and you see we're living in the result of that deficit. We see the wealth disparities, we see the poverty, et cetera. We see, people unable to buy their kids' houses like their peers in this town because their parents were robbed of this equity. And this, of course, is echoed everywhere. So when we talk about repair, and I said this before in the West Lot, right? Many times we love to call that repair and whatnot, and it's not. It's an apartment building. There's actually no correlation between repair. It's nice. I'm pro-housing, of course. We love housing. But it's not repair. Not at all. And so thinking about actual repair, especially when we control the lot, I think is very important. And, the corresponding and the correlation to the Ed Roberts campus is wonderful. Support that. Love Universal Design. Very proud to host, to be the home of Universal Design in this world, South Berkeley. Very proud of that. And so not to say we can do one or the other, but it should be infused. If we're going to use it, it should also be infused with the economic justice of the black people who were robbed there. My mother almost had a coronary when I showed her this plan. She's like, "What are you talking about?" Right. So let's be real here and understand. Of course, we know this. The economic limitations of the site is pretty small, right? Only so much we can monetize in that little area. And of course, housing's expensive. And there's all these issues around the cost of building and maximizing the number of people we can help with the number of ownership entities we can create. However, two things. We know that in the fires of LA, because of the LA fire, there is basically an arms race to bring in the new building materials, methodologies. Let me go on, please. Yeah. Methodologies into California and the country, to California. So many of your cost projections are actively being confronted right now by the building industry, right now. And so by the time this thing breaks ground, who knows what cost curves we can meet. Also, different financing tools. We know that ownership is the number one element being driven right now in the housing advocacy community in this country and in the state. And so many proposals are winding its way through the different bodies to incentivize ownership, to create starter home tax credits, et cetera. The same thing is used now for affordable housing development, but for ownership. All that's coming. And so by the time this building gets built, I do think we will have a stronger chance at achieving affordable home ownership. And this is by far what the community has asked for repeatedly, the most. They want it. We know we need it. It's out of reach for everyone. But particularly, again, thinking about what was robbed from these people and their descendants and their associates and the neighborhood as a whole and the community as a whole, the city as a whole, robbed of all this vitality. And we can bring it back. And so a quick couple points here. I do think we should have 3 members of the community on board here. I've served on numerous RFP committees before I was elected. And they're fun. They're great for people to get involved and learn how processes work, like a miniature commission. And in this instance, where you have, strong vested interests from the community that may be divergent, it's important to not be captured and to allow 3 different people to get in there and mix it up. Yep. And I think we'll benefit. Because I want someone on there who wants ownership. I want someone to fight as hard as they can to produce ownership on that site, or devise a mechanism to capture revenue and shift it somewhere nearby to create a new program. We have lots of ideas for programs for ownership, lots of them out there. Let's do it. Let's drive it forward from here. That would be the karmic sense of development this property demands, because we did not get it on the West Lot. We didn't get it. Okay, and that was the one to do it. That was huge. But BART controlled it. We couldn't do it. I fought for that for years. So this is our last stand, and let's make it count. So I want you to consider going back to this RFP and punching up the ownership and urging the developers. And they call me all the time too. These people are calling me all the time. They can do this for this much cheaper. They're out there. Let's let them fight to get this contract, this super high-profile development deal. Let them fight to get it. And on that end, and this goes along with the new developers, the new ideas, the new people, which ties into our economic justice element. Let's get some new developers in here. People who come from historically redlined communities. They can't get a job. You should see the talented black architects and developers and finance pros out there trying to get in the game, but they can't get in. And we know this from our 2017, we passed the BINDEX. That's not my name for it. They call it that. The Inclusion Diversity Index. We have a penchant for choosing established players, large entities that are not facilitating the on-ramp of new people and diverse money. And now, as you see, in general, all the wealth is bound up in a few hands. So it's almost like this is a continuation of 1972. When you wipe out their wealth, move it up here, and keep it there. So let's take this moment to do our part to undo the momentum and create a new momentum that's born of economic justice and access and true reparation. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Member. And you already did this, so thank you very much for setting the stage.